Why, hello there, and guten Tag to all, and welcome to another monthly helping of the Thrip and Frank N show. I am your host, Dr. Weiser Thrip, and with me is my creation, Frank N. Stein. Hello. So, Franken, my boy, what is the topic of discussion this month? Vampires. Oh, vampires, of course, because Red Horror YouTube channel is having a vampire weekend, so, yeah, I thought, why not do a podcast on vampires? So, last month we had Creepypasta, but we thought we would, well, vampires. So, Franken, my boy, what do you know of vampires? Well, Master, I do know that they are like undead, and they're like blood-sucking monsters. Yeah, blood-sucking demons. Of course, these infamous monsters have been around for like a very long time, for like thousands and thousands of years, throughout the history of the myth. Now, of course, before Dracula, vampires were seen as blood-sucking, bat-like demons, and well, they were just meant to be like hideous creatures, until 1897 when Dracula came out. You read that to me once, Master. Yeah, I did. And it was from then on that vampires were seen as supernatural beings that were romances. Not only that, but Bram Stoker gave them the unique ability to shapeshift into bats and climb walls and have so much strange things go on with that book. And of course, he went to Whitby for that inspiration. Oh, Whitby in North Yorkshire. You once said you'll take me there one day, Master. Yeah, I will, Frankie, my boy. I shall take you to Whitby, and we will go on the Dracula tour. Oh boy, Dracula tour! Was he real then? Well, in a way, he was. Of course, for the inspiration of Bram Stoker's novel, not only was there Whitby that was a location-like inspiration, but he also was inspired by the history of Romanian Prince Vlad Tepes, otherwise known as Vlad the Impaler, as he did impale many of his victims onto a stake, inserting it through the anus, with the butter to help grease it up. And whoa, Master, he put stakes up their bottoms? Yeah, my boy, he did. He very, very much did. And what would happen was they would slowly slide down the stake as it would work its way through them agonizingly. Oh, that must have hurt. Oh, it must have done, my boy. And you didn't even have to do much to piss Vlad off. I mean, there was a servant who was holding his nose, well, Vlad said, "Why is he holding his nose?" And he told his master that he can't stand the god-awful stench. So he impaled him. Excuse me. He impaled him on the tallest stake, so he could not smell the rotting flesh. And of course, this is like around the time when they were at war with the Turks, and it was very, very bleak times in Eastern Europe. But yeah, was one of the inspirations for Dracula. And of course, Dracula made it into film. Oh yes, we watched that once, Master, didn't we? That Nosferatu. He looked like a rat or a mouse. I think that is what vampires were sort of like before. In 1922, there was a silent film. Oh, and then we watched that 1931 version, Bram Stoker's Dracula, with that Hungarian actor man. Yeah, Bela Lugosi. He did a good portrayal of Dracula and sort of invented the modern, like, approach we have on the supernatural vampire prince. We have him like that. It's like ever since that film, everyone has tried to imitate the performance of Bela Lugosi, and of course he did get typecast from that role. Oh yeah, Master, didn't you say they buried him in it? Yeah, they did. They very much did. Not only that, but of course Dracula sort of made and break his career. I mean, he found it hard to get work in other genres, and of course, he ended up doing stage plays, reprising his role as Dracula till he died, and was buried in his Dracula cape. I think towards the end, he kind of lost the plot because he did, well, he did kind of, at some point think he was Dracula. I mean, in LA, Los Angeles, he had his very own Dracula castle constructed. And of course, Johnny Depp, the actor Johnny Depp, lives in that now. Ooh, does he? Does he do tours? No, I'm afraid he doesn't. What about that dark universe that they were on about making with the mummy? Yeah, the future of the dark universe is pretty much unknown due to the disappointment of the mummy. But I think they were going to have Dracula in there at some point, but they just did not. But hopefully we might be able to see another attempt again one day. I just hope that if they're going to redo the Dark Universe, they need to do it right. And I mean, yeah, there has been so many portrayals on Dracula, such as the Hammer House of horror films. They have done a lot of those kind of content in films. I mean, one of the second well-known actors for playing Dracula, of course, is Christopher Lee. And, of course, we had Gary Oldman in 1992's Bram Stoker's Dracula. I feel like you're giving us a whole history lesson on Dracula and doing a lot of the talking. Yeah, of course, I'm sorry, my boy. Yeah, let's hear what you want to say about the vampires. Well, I like that film From Dusk Till Dawn. They look like weird little monster creatures. Yeah, a very odd take on the vampire genre, but still, it is a good film. It spawned sequels and a Netflix series. Yeah, I think the Netflix series is pretty much a remake of the film, just a lot slower. Yeah, the first half of the season was a bit piss, wasn't it? Yes, master. I also like that one where they're fighting werewolves, Underworld, and also that series with them in True Blood. Yeah, True Blood. That was a good show when it was on. Oh, master, you still haven't let me watch that yet, True Blood. Well, my boy, you can sit and watch it one night when I am asleep. Oh, yes, of course. I could binge the entire first season in one night. Yeah, because that's what you pretty much do, because you don't sleep. So, tell me, what more do you want to say on the vampires? Well, I do like that series as well, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Watching a young, blonde, beautiful girl kick the arses of monsters and vampires. I mean, what is it with vampires and the sun? I mean, it's like they see the sun and then they think, oh no, sunlight, gotta run away. Big undead babies. Vampires suck. Especially in Twilight. What the hell is that with Twilight? Oh, do not get me started on the Twilight. Twilight is piss. It is. Anyone who is listening out there, don't take it the wrong way. It's just I do not like the Twilight films. I tried to watch the first film. I managed to get through it, but the second movie, I had enough of it. It was just... I just did not like it. I did not like the werewolves too. They were like normal wolves but big, and they didn't look fierce. No, they didn't, did they, Master? Um, so, are you happy that they're not doing any more Twilight films? Yeah, pretty much. Of course, not many else the cast have been able to find other roles apart from Taylor Lautner. Taylor Lautner, I have grown to like him in other things like comedy, such as that BBC series Coco. Of course, we're getting a bit off subject now, but let's get back onto the vampires. What else do you like about the vampires? Well, I like how they're wimps when they come across werewolves in their full wolf form, and also they just love to drink blood. Well, of course they drink blood. It's part of their diet. They are blood-sucking creatures, and they do that. Where does vampires originate from? Like, how? I mean, there's got to have been one. Yeah, it's old myth. So many myths on the creatures and how they started. But apparently it's believed, from what I have gathered in history, that it's somewhat originated on a small island in the Mediterranean around the time of the ancient Greeks. But, yeah, why do vampires turn into bats, Master? Depends what film you're watching. I mean, if you watch John Carpenter's Vampires, they apparently don't, as what James Woods said in the movie. But commonly they can do that. I mean, um, yeah, Dracula does. And what about that when they turn into like a wolf? Well, again, it's a mystery. It really is. But yeah, they turn into bats. Don't they make some fun of vampire films as well, like Dracula Dead and Loving It? I think that's funny because Leslie Nielsen was in it playing Dracula, and it was very funny, Master. Yeah, we had some good laughs on that one, didn't we? Dracula Dead and Loving It. I think Random Ross is going to do a review on that film in his Vampire Weekend. Didn't you say it starts tonight? Yeah, that's another thing. That's what reminded me, Franken. All you listeners there, the Vampire Weekend will begin tonight on Random Horror YouTube channel. Around 5 o'clock GMT time. I think it will be 6 o'clock for me in Germany. Yeah. Also, I thought that was funny when they were taking the piss out of Twilight in Vampires Suck. Yeah, I mean, I fell asleep watching that movie because I thought it was piss. But, yeah, I did not like it. It was not for me. I thought it was funny, but yeah, I get what you mean, Master. I'm still learning, you see. What about, like, other takes on vampires, like Priest, the film with Paul Bettany and Carl Urban? That film is piss, Franklin. I told you, do not waste your time on it. They don't even look like vampires, and it's very tame. It's just, it's unwatchable to me. Oh, is it that bad, Master? Yeah, it is, my boy. So, you like other things like vampire TV shows? I'm teaching you to read at the moment, aren't I, as well, Franklin? Yes, you are, Master. What have I been teaching you to read? Well, you taught me how to read Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles. I really enjoyed that. Then you showed me the film version of one of them, Interview with the Vampire. Yeah, Interview with the Vampire. Yes, Interview with the Vampire. And how are you liking it so far? Well, apart from each word being a process, I think it's a good book when you read the whole page to me after I've struggled to read one. Yeah, you're still learning, my boy. You're like nearly, how old are you? Let's see, I created you in 2016. Yeah, you're like 3 years old this December, aren't you, boy? Yes, I am, Master. Does that mean I'm getting big? Oh, you're already big. But, yeah. Um, what else? Oh, and also we watched the movie adaptation of the book Interview with the Vampire, as well, with Brad Pitt, Christian Slater, Tom Cruise, and Kirsten Dunst. Yeah, the film was slightly different to the books, but other than that, I thought it was an enjoyable film. Interview with the Vampire. Because he literally interviews the vampire and we discover the 200 years that he's lived. Yes, that is right, boy. Of course, we also watched as well very recently Queen of the Damned, which is another Anne Rice adaptation, and in the book series, it's part of a Vampire Chronicles. Oh, that had that priest in it, that vicar man in it from Lesbian Vampire Killers. Oh yeah, Paul McGann, who was the eighth incarnation of the Doctor in Doctor Who. Yeah, he was in that, and he was in Lesbian Vampire Killers. I think that film is... well, yeah, Lesbian Vampire Killers is a guilty pleasure of mine. It's funny, Master. I like the ladies in it. Oh, I really hope Rand and Ross will do that one too. I think it is. He's only reviewing 5 films. One of them is a originals versus remake. I think that will be up tonight. I don't know. But look, let's... what about the other forms of vampires in literature? What are your thoughts on the vampires in Doctor Who? Well, Master, you said that there's 2 stories of vampires in Doctor Who. One being called The State of Decay, and the other one like being called Vampires in Venice. But I think well, to me, a vampire needs to be a human-like person with fangs and supernatural powers, like in True Blood. But I don't like how vampires in a lot of modern-day things have reflections. Oh, yeah. That is another thing. They're doing a lot of reverse rules these days in the vampire genre, such as walking in the sunlight and having super speed and strength, and they show them off. And they also gives them the ability to walk in the sunlight, and it doesn't just take a simple stick to the heart to kill them. It could take something else. Yeah, they're just getting complicated. I prefer the much easier, the much simple take on the vampires. What about the vampires in the Vampire Diaries? Yeah, they're okay. I just don't like how they seem to have a reflection. But werewolves in that, they're not made, they're born it, and they have to kill someone to activate that wolf gene. Frankie, we're not talking about werewolves now. I mean, yeah, we could do a werewolf video, another time. But right now we're talking about the vampires. But yeah, vampires with mirrors and they have reflections. It's insane. I mean, I don't get it, but well, it's just. We're in a different age now, I guess. But when I was a young boy, Dracula and Nosferatu were the vampires. And I've just been seeing a lot of them recently to do this podcast with you, Master. Yeah, that is very true, my boy. So, I want to mention as well the movie that I very much enjoyed as well was... well, it was Rumpelstiltskin. Oh, yeah, Rumpelstiltskin. Has that got anything to do with vampires? No, it doesn't. My apologies, listeners, but I think I slightly drifted off subject there for unknown reasons. Yeah, we're meant to be talking about the vampires. So, let me see. What do you think blood groups are to vampires? Well, I think there could always be like a colour to them. Yeah, I do understand what you mean there. It can be. I understand the confusion. Can you tell us anything else about vampire movies that you might have seen or might not have? Well, Master, I do like the vampire episode of Goosebumps Vampire Breath, which is a book as well in the Goosebumps book series. I also like that one on the monsters, Grandpa. Oh yeah, they get a lot of the university monsters and flip it on their head. There's Herman Monster, who is clearly meant to be the Frankenstein monster. We have Grandpa, who is meant to be Dracula, Lily, who's meant to be one of his brides or something, and we also have, I don't know what else there is to say. But look, all I am saying is, vampires have very sharp teeth. Yes, they do. Oh, what about that one, Master, where Dracula in Dracula Dead and Loving It is causing a bit of a confusion with, saying who should stand up, who should sit up. Oh yeah, yeah, I know what you mean by that scene. Um, so, yeah, I don't think we haven't got long left on this podcast. I can't really think of much more to say. Also, I'm feeling very tired. I did surgery late last night for someone on the black market. Oh, yes, you did, Master. I heard you downstairs. Okay, so before we go on to the final part of the show, which is answering some fan mail, is there anything on vampires you want to know or want to say about them, Frank N? Vampires suck. I like werewolves, they're way better. Okay, well, that's what you have to say. Okay, so let's do our end part of the show where we go through some of our mail. Oh, and by the way, to our listeners, yeah, like I say, this episode is not as long as it usually was. The past few times it has been because, well, we love vampire movies, but we do love, a lot of other things like stuff, Yeah, let's get to the mail. Okay, so our first letter is from someone who it says that her name is Scarlett. That's all it says. Does not say anything else. I'm assuming it's a woman. So she wrote to us, Dr. Thrip and Frank N. Stein. Will you please at some point do a podcast discussion on witches or witchcraft? Well, yeah, maybe in a future episode we will do one. If we don't have a subject or something, then we will definitely take it into consideration, my dear. Let us see. I think this one's for me. It says F-N-S. Fanasa. F-A-F-N-S. Yeah, that is your initial. Do you know what it says? Frank N. You read it, Master. Frank N. Stein. I want to know, what is your secret to not being able to sleep at night? And if you can teach it to me, can you please do so? Well, Frank N., how do you not sleep at night? Because I know, it's the first night after I made you. Yeah, I just don't feel the need to sleep. I think it's because I'm already, undead. Well, sort of. I'm made of bits of dead people, and I guess I don't have many functions as a body should. I mean, I have a life force, but yeah, I just don't feel the need to sleep. Yeah, that's a good enough answer. And here is another one from her there. It says, my name is Action Men, or at least I want to be my own Action Man. Dr. Flip, if you could tell me how much the surgery will cost to make me look like an Action Man doll, could you do it for me? Well, be sure to send me your details and we will discuss something. You really can't afford it, can you? So let us look. We have time for one more, and I think this one is for you and me again, Frank N.
Okay, what's it say?
Well, the first part of the letter is, Dr. Fripp, are you an old man? I don't know. Am I old? I don't know. I'm like 76. I hope that answers your question, because I don't feel that old. And for Franken, this one is for you. What will you do if people ask what those stitch lines or whatever, the scars you will or might not have?
Oh, yes, master, yes.
What will you, what would he... all this bottom part of the letter is all gibberish. Yeah, Frankenstein, what? I can't read out this letter. It's really hard to read it.
Oh, let me see, master. I don't know what this says.
Well, I don't think we have any more time for any more mail. Well, I am very tired, my boy. After working late last night, I'm going to go for a nap. Do you want to wrap up here, my boy?
Yes, sir, master. I will, master, now that you've taught me how to work the computer and all the machines that we have.
Good. Well, to our listeners, from me, it is our fee to say goodbye, and we will see you next month.
Yeah, you have a nice sleep, master. Well, that's pretty much it for this month's edition of the Thrip and Frank N Show. So, yeah, I've been your host, co-host, Frank N. Stein, with my master, Dr. Thrip, who is tired and is going for an afternoon nap. So, yes, I think that's pretty much it on this month's show. Yeah, so me and my master, we should be back with another topic next month. Won't we, master?
Yeah, Frank, we will.
He hasn't got his microphone on anymore because he's gone. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it now. So till then, bye-bye, and don't you have nightmares.
Master, I'm done. So turn it off then.
But I don't know how, master.
Okay, calm down. I'll come and do it for you now.
Oh, yes. I think this is still recording, master, too.
Hold on, I'll be right there.
Okay. Should I mean, there's a stop button to stop recording. Should I do that?
Yes. Press the stop button and I'll come down and turn the rest of it off.
Oh, okay, master. I'll do it right now, master.